Hi, ladies. Let's talk about handling conflicts, a topic we love because, it is so triggering. So, in this lesson, we're going to learn simple and powerful tips to handle conflicts in a better way and in such a way that it actually deepens connection. Did you know that conflicts can actually deepen the connection between the two of you? Well, if you didn't, you're going to learn about this in this lesson and how to do it. But let's talk about the 101 of conflict resolution here, the basic stuff that we always need to go back to, no matter what the conflict situation is about. The first tidbit of information that I have for you is to not sweat the small stuff. You can sweat the big stuff, but not the small stuff. There are some areas where my husband and I simply do not agree at all. And the main one is DIY projects in the house. We never agree on anything. So any kind of DIY project we have leads to us expressing our opposite views about materials to use, where to put this piece of fabric, this piece of wood, what to do with this rock or whatever. And there was this time I was mentioning to my husband that I thought it would be a good idea to deepen our stream bed, because we have a stream bed by our house, so that the water, the snow melt, flows faster and doesn't soak up our basement, which happens every winter. So that's what I expressed. Then I heard Steve say, I don't think we need to do that because... And then I couldn't hear anything. It was only white noise to me because I was so annoyed and upset that he's already disagreeing with my one idea about something to do in our yard. It was a familiar trigger, so I said, let's stop talking about it because I'm getting upset, and let's leave it at that. I could feel the emotions rise within me. So I decided to cut it short and to not sweat the small stuff. Couples tend to fight over the same issues over and over again. And if the problem is unimportant in a greater scheme of things, just let it go and agree to disagree. And sometimes you go with your partner's opinion, and sometimes it's your point of view that's being acknowledged or put into practice or whatever. You will have to tackle the truly meaningful conflicts, though. You will have to deal with the deep fears, the trust issues, differences in values that are very meaningful to the relationship. So these we definitely want to handle. And another tidbit of information, of wisdom, basic wisdom, I'd say, is to calm thyself. I definitely do not function very well when I feel upset, tired, angry, scared, or sad. Do you? It's really hard to be a good listener, to be good at empathizing, or to come up with creative solutions to an argument if your heart is beating out of your chest and you can barely breathe. So I'd suggest taking a break from the argument, agree to pause. Like, let's take a break right now. I'm feeling a little flustered. I want to cool off. And then you can go into different rooms, or you can get out of the house, be by yourself to calm down. Really hard to resolve a conflict if the tension in the room is so high. The goal here is to de-escalate the conflict, to de-intensify, I don't know if that's even a word, the argument here. So let's take some deep, slow breathing here and try to get your heart rate to go down. And the deep breathing is going to help oxygen flowing through your brain again so that you can use it again. And for some people, they may want to go for a short run. They may want to listen to soothing music. They may want to do yoga or meditate or whatever. Know what works for you to deflate the inner tension that you have, and go ahead, do that. And then when you both feel calm again, you can sit down or go for a walk and revisit the conflict to discuss and come up with solutions. If you're one of these person who has the urge to talk right now, in times of stress, you're like, I feel I need to talk right now and express everything that's going on inside of me. You can still do that, but I would suggest you write it down. And don't blurt out everything that's going on inside of you, because it will end up being like a big blah, and it might not help reduce the tension between the two of you. So write it down. I've heard people say that they would go out and talk to their favorite tree and get it all out and talk to themselves or whatever it is that they need to express. All these words that are piling up inside of their heads and that won't come out of their mouth. Another wise thing to do during a conflict is to ask lots of questions, lots of open-ended questions. So now that the two of you can breathe normally and can access this part of your brain that actually comes up with solutions, you can go back to resolving the conflict as a unit, together. You're on the same team. You are going to problem solve this together. And to problem solve, you'll need to ask open-ended questions to your partner. How? What? When? Why? Who? Be curious and truly listen to your partner. And listening is the key here. Hearing somebody out is a magnificent gift that you can give to your partner. Talk less, listen more, don't interrupt. Listening is really a key skill of communicating. Our whole society could really benefit from practicing active listening a little bit more than trying to argue back, to focus on what you want, to try to get your point across no matter what. So we're talking about listening with our ears, but also with our heart and soul. Try to take turns as well, because maybe one of you is more of the listener and the other one is more of the talker. But it's good to acknowledge taking turns, so you may try to engage your partner into telling you more if he's the one who's usually more of the listener. And you might need to step up if you are more of the listener, if there's something that you need to express here. So the faster you and your loved one will be able to move through disagreements and emotional tension, the better. And know that every conflict is an opportunity for you to learn and grow deeper into connection. Disagreements, conflicts can be used as a way to enrich your shared life by being curious about understanding the point of view of your partner and by being brave about expressing your own in a way that is non-violent, in a way that's compassionate, as we've talked about in the previous lesson. So when it's time for you to speak your truth, let's do it in a short and brave exchange. Let me give you an example here. And this short and brave exchange is recommended by Harriet Lerner. She is a psychotherapist of couples. She's been a therapist for couples for a couple decades, I'm going to say. She suggests that being short and brave and brief, it all goes together, with your loved one is really the best way to resolve conflict. So the first step is to tell your truth. You state the facts, the feelings, your request. If you use the nonviolent communication way here, you state the fact, the feelings, you've acknowledged the needs that you have, and you ask for the request. So it's very much in line with what we've learned in the previous lesson on communication. It could go like this. Honey, when you make comments about women's breast size, I feel very uncomfortable. Please don't talk that way when you're with me. That could be one way to do it. I would state it a bit differently using the nonviolent communication way. I say, honey, when you make comments about women's breast size, I feel very uncomfortable and sad because I am needing acceptance of women's body sizes, including my own. Could you please not talk about women's breast size with me? And you might want to add, hey, you're more than welcome to do that with your buddies. All right. So that's the step one. And it might be enough. Your partner may acknowledge your request, they've heard you, and they're open and flexible. And this comment alone might produce the desired result. But change usually takes more than one or two comments like that. And your partner may react defensively, or they might try to test you consciously or unconsciously, or they might not realize how big of a deal it is for you. So you may have to do step 2. If the behavior continues, you may have to tell your truth again, stating your fact, your feeling, your needs if you have to, and your request. Honey, I need to let you know how anxious and uncomfortable I feel when you make comments about women's breast size. Please don't talk about women's breasts in my presence anymore. Feel free to talk to your buddies about it, though. It's good to give an alternative for what is possible. And, well, this might work. Or he may test you again to see if you will hold your ground, or maybe because he hasn't learned how big of a deal it is for you yet. So you would move on to the next step. Step 3. If they do it again, drop your partner a note that restates your position. You're going to have to write it down. Your note needs to be short. Focus on how important your relationship with your partner is to you, and how you feel when he does something that you don't appreciate, and what your request is. Not your demand, your request. Honey, you're very important to me, and I love you very much because you're funny, you're a great dad to our kids, and you chose to be in partnership with me. But I want to tell you again that it's difficult for me to be with you when you continue not to respect my feelings. Please don't talk about women's breasts in my presence anymore. I certainly hope that you'll think about what I'm expressing from the bottom of my heart and consider my perspective and feelings. Love, blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, this is an example. You have to use your own words, your own voice to make it true to you. Speak with your heart, express your feelings, ask for a request. And you may want to share this short note with your partner. You may have to read it. If it's a little bit too much for you, just read it. Or give it to him in a letter, in an email. I prefer face-to-face. I think it's braver to do it face-to-face. It's a little more tricky, but you can simply read your note and say, hey, I've been telling you about this. This is really important to me. Here's what's going on. Could you please respect my request? Okay. And if your partner is the kind of person who dismisses your request over and over and over again, you may have to make some decisions here. Okay. We're not expecting our partners to agree and do exactly as we say. But we're hoping that after we've built more and more connection and complicity and intimacy with our partner, that they are more receptive and open to wanting to honor our feelings. All right? Even though they're not responsible for that. So another aspect of this conflict resolution is that you do want to share meaning with your partner. Whatever's going on inside of you, that's a big deal. Share the meaning. John Gottman, who is a researcher on couples, he's been researching couples under the microscope for 25 years, I think. He's seen it all. And he believes that most conflicts arise because people attach different meanings and values to the same situation. And that gets in the way over their ability to respond to their partner's need for connection, to understand each other. So when you describe the meaning you attach to a situation, and you can hear out the meaning your loved one has over the same situation, which may be different from yours, Then you can reach some common ground. Then you come from a place where meanings can merge, or at least understanding is there and empathy is there, and compromise is a possibility. Let me give you an example. This couple that is newly formed, they both had marriages and children from previous marriages, and they came together as a new couple in their 50s. And the man is giving money to his adult children from time to time, just like that. Not because the children ask, but because he wants to give them money. And the woman doesn't get this. She's like, why are you giving money to your adult children? They're supposed to be responsible. They're supposed to be adults. My children will be getting money from me, from my inheritance after I'm dead. So here you go. There is this act of giving money to adult children that has very different meaning to both these people. For him, it is a gift of love. He's showing love to his children because it's how he likes to show his love. He likes to give gifts of money. So for him, his money is a product of his labor of love. And he thinks he's not going to take the money into the grave, and his children, may as well benefit right now as opposed to when he is passed away. And so if these two people can start expressing the meaning that they have around this issue, they are more likely to understand one another. Okay? Next, do is to practice. You may want to practice what you really intend to express, especially if it's a sensitive topic, especially if it's a topic that you will know trigger overwhelming emotions within you or within your partner. And you want to be able to not hijack your communication, to not sabotage what it is you truly want to express in a heartful and soulful way, getting the point across in a clear message and getting the understanding and the result you're hoping for. So there are two ways you can practice. You can write the short and brave note that I've shared with you before and share it with your partner. Or if you want to not have to do the note, you can practice saying your script with a supportive friend until the tone of your voice sounds calm, open, warm, inquisitive, curious. Because this is from this place that the flow, the back and forth exchange between you and your partner can flow more easily. So you don't want to have your note writing anything that is condemning or erratic or judgmental. And what to do when your emotions burst out. That's it. I've had enough. I can't take it anymore. This is no more. Well, it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself when it happens and you've been trying to express yourself in a nonviolent communication way, in a short and brave way. If you do have a tendency to emotionally burst out, bursting out emotionally again is probably not going to help the flow of communication with your partner, because bursting emotionally has become a habit in your couple dynamic, and your partner may be desensitized there. So for you, the approach might be to try to calm yourself, ground yourself, write down the brave and short note, and read the note short and sweet, and have less big emotions. But if you are this person who's usually pretty reserved and calm and keep things to yourself, and there's the situation that is too much for you and your emotions burst out and you're like, no more, I've had enough, I cannot believe this, it might actually come as a shock and a surprise to your partner because you are out of character. And anything that is a little bit different can trigger an openness within a partner. So I'm not saying that emotions bursting out is bad. It does some good at times, but you want to keep it in check and make sure you're expressing what you truly wish to express. Well, I hope you've learned a few things from this lesson and that you're better prepared to handle conflicts. It is a practice. It's not because you've looked at this lesson once that's it. You know it intellectually. You're done. Like any change, we need to put it into practice over and over and over again until it becomes easier and easier and more natural to us. And that's how change crystallizes. I'll see you on the next video.